Greetings, good people. Welcome back to another episode of the PR Lunch Hour. And today, ladies and gentlemen, bosses and baddies, we have gathered an amazing melanated panel to talk to you guys today on PR Lunch Hour. We are serving up something really special. Joining us today is Courtney Collins. Okay. She is a true powerhouse, making waves where corporate meets community. She's a bold voice with a resume and receipts that match. She's LinkedIn official. And let me tell you something about her brand strategy from the boardroom to the locker room. She's been shaping narratives and elevating voices with style, grace, and straight up magic. I've had the opportunity to chat with her, and today you get to join us in bringing her on. Miss Courtney Collins, hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Hey, y'all.
Super excited to have you here. Listen, let's go ahead and get into, because we want people to get to know you through your work. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Title, less important, more of what you do and how you are out here changing the world. Let's get into our wins. How are you winning in life these days? How are you winning personally, professionally? Let us know who you are through your wins.
Yes, absolutely. So, my biggest win recently, my biggest recent win is founding my company, my own company, my marketing consulting company, The Core Purpose. That has been the biggest win that I can name. And I'm so excited about this new journey and everything that has brought so far. I'm super excited about that.
So, what were you doing before you founded your own company? What did
Absolutely.
that look like?
Yeah, so I was a marketing director. I'm a marketing senior manager for 12 years before this, and fell in love with marketing. And all of my roles had a PR component. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Most of my roles have been kind of this overarching, like all things brand, comms, marketing. And so for 12 years, different industries, different size corporations, from 50-person company to 28,000-person company. I have been in the marketing space.
Love that. Love that. What's going on with you, Tam? How are you winning today, girl?
I'm alive. I am alive, y'all. Yeah, no, as I was mentioning to the ladies, we had tornadoes here. So Sunday being the worst, and then we had like 3 more days from Wednesday to well, sorry, yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and today. Thankfully, it's down to flooding. Had some house damage, but we are okay. Um, but it's not all bad news. I also had my first TikTok lead, and I had a sales call on Wednesday after the second night. So I'm still winning here. Just we're taking it, holding things, two things can be true at once. That's where I'm at.
That's right. So
I
glad to
hear
see.
you. I hear you. And I'm just happy to be here with you ladies. For me, that's winning. Having all these melanated faces on this camera it's a win for me. One of my personal wins was personal and professional. I actually spoke to the comms class at Tuskegee University
Ooh.
this week. And it's always wondering what's next. I think in our industry, like who's coming up behind us and the ability to give back. Do we have the time to do it? None of our jobs are uh, allow for us to be lazy, right? We don't have a lot of extra time. Either we're doing our job or we're trying to have some level of personal life, which usually goes by the wayside. But even being able to take time to speak to the next generation of young Black professionals, the next generation of young PR and communications professionals, that was incredible for me. And then some of them reached out afterwards, and I was like, oh, I don't suck at this. Okay, okay, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I didn't feel like they don't think I'm too old for this.
Too much.
I guess I wasn't a little old hag. So, just being able to stay connected afterwards, I was like, sometimes we need to know, like, you don't suck, you're not outdated,
True.
you're not irrelevant, and they enjoyed the conversation enough to want to continue that conversation, or even start a new conversation. So for me, that was a win, because I think we are in a position now where we're not only doing the work and leaving our own legacy, but trying to leave a legacy through the next generation of whoever comes next, right? So that was, and it was a HBCU. So come on, man, come through.
Mhm.
So that was it. That was a win. So how are you losing? Like, other than the tornadoes, I mean, how, what are you struggling with today?
Just open ended. Just put us in that spot.
Yeah. What's the
Woo!
struggle?
Mercies.
I'll
Um,
start.
yeah.
Lies, and alibis, and tariffs, the
Mm,
economy, companies deciding they don't want to spend money on what could be seen as optional. You know,
yeah. A
am
lot
I
of that
am I
going
off base here?
I think I've had to tune it out to a degree, because it was consuming me, right? So I am very aware of what's happening, but I have learned to try to compartmentalize that so it doesn't take over and make me angry in every other area of my life. But I will say I am still trying to adjust to my new norm of being an entrepreneur and trying to find balance. Like, what does that look like for me as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, as a, all these things, right? Like, how do I stay locked in, but also turn it off so that I can have some form of normalcy at home?
Tam, what are
Real
your
talk.
thoughts?
Oh, you want me to answer which question? That one? 'Cause I have, okay, Courtney, she does this, so like just this is the norm. Um, I mean, again, I've known Courtney. We worked together before. I am so proud of her because she is amazing, having worked with her. I see some comments saying, yes, founder, so proud of you. Uh, how do you balance it? I also am a mom of two, one in early childhood, and the other one's, I don't know, doing something, right? Preteen,
Mm,
beautiful,
pre-
beautiful daughters. Uh, I've had two seasons, I would say, because I do the multi hyphenate, which is like I do what I'm doing and I also do my business. And even with that, I've had to really tap into time management and learning like what I can do in a certain amount of time. I will say, and like Tanya can speak to this as not biased, you don't have to be a parent, but I do feel like as parents, we tap into like being very efficient so we can do a lot of things in short periods of time. I think we don't have a choice. So I would say like one of the books that really helped me is called I Know How She Does This,
mm,
and it's about being I this book has helped free me from shaming myself about what I can accomplish.
mm,
Um, it really talks about how there are a lot of successful women who are moms and who have a life and who have thriving businesses, and they really figure out how they spend their time, and like once they assess it they figure out what their time rhythm is. So my time rhythm is I can get things done in 1 to 2 weeks, sans acts of God. Like tornadoes. But it really helps you figure out what your time rhythm is, and then you start really figuring out whether what your season is. Entrepreneur, like your kid starts doing a sport or an extracurricular activity, like whatever it is, you figure out how to shift your time and how to use your time and still get the same amount of things done, but you're kinder to yourself and you're like, you know what? Other people, amazing women have done this. Like the book is really tailored to us as moms and talks about like lawyers, people who are CEOs, like where you are right now, Courtney. They talk a lot about that. So that book has been a huge foundation for helping me. And to fast track anyone who's watching and you, Courtney, through the book, basically it says like just do a time audit. Like now you're in this new space, Courtney. Do a time audit of how you spend your time. Like this is not a don't judge yourself. Don't be like, I'm not getting enough done. Just do a time audit for a week and see how much you get done and what you get done. And then when you see it, you can be like, oh, I actually have a pocket of time here, or like, oh wait, I can delegate this to somebody. Like my biggest thing is that I delegate cleaning.
Mm.
I just texted, so I was like, "Can you come clean next week? Because I'm tapped out this week."
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
do you need to delegate? Like, what do you need to delegate? But I don't delegate folding my laundry because it's a space for me to clear my head. Like, you try to figure out what's for you,
Right.
but once you do that and you figure out your time rhythm, the rest is like a lot more seamless. So that's my little
I love
cardinal
it.
wisdom.
As communication individuals, though, I would
Yeah.
love to get into. There's one. It's one thing about figuring out your own life, your own time
Yeah.
management,
Hmm.
but sometimes you have to get the people in your life, and I think all three of us are married, to
Hmm.
understand our time management, our process in a way that they understand how we are prioritizing and moving things along. How we, perfect example, my husband is incredibly smart. He does things swift. Okay. When we met in college, he was already typing 100 something words a minute. So I have to get him to understand sometimes, like, sir, everybody don't move like you. Like,
Not
he
at all. Oh my gosh.
processes numbers quickly. Like, he don't need, I'm need pencil, paper, pad, and a calendar and a computer program to help me with. He's like, "Boop, boop." So I think sometimes the people around us, depending on what their skills are and how they process, they don't always understand what we are trying to convey or how we are trying to process things. And I'm in perimenopause, so I'm a little unkiltered. But
You.
honestly, as a parent, as
Yes.
a business
Yes.
owner, as a business woman, even if we don't run our own business, you have to go to work, you have these other obligations. How are we getting the other people around us to understand how we are processing and what we need in order to be successful? Courtney, what has worked with you so far?
Don't ask me. This literally just came up yesterday. Like, literally, this just came up yesterday. Tanya, I do want to tell you too. Your mic is hitting your necklace and giving. There you
Oh,
go.
okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
But no, I just had to deal with this yesterday. Or like 2 days ago, because that's why I named it as a loss. Right. My husband is an engineer, and
Mm.
so the way he goes and moves throughout life is totally different. It has been, right? Opposites attract. But it is a level of like, I need you to understand that me posting on social media, me doing podcasts, me going out to women's brunches, me networking, me having meetings is a part of the grind, and is not me just dilly dallying and filling up my time, and not purposely not prioritizing the home. It's just a part of this new space, right? This is
Yeah.
just the cost of business now, which I love it, and he knows I love it. So it's also, I think it's a little bit of jealousy, maybe, I don't know, but it is like, hey, this is part of the grind, and I need you to understand that you might not have some socks, but they in there, go in there and made them up. They're clean. Did I get to make them up? Not yet. You'll live. So there is a I'm still trying to figure out that balance. I love you, Aaron.
Yeah. I love it.
Pam, what about you? Because I know your significant other
Yes, you do. My husband, you
thinks
were a significant other
differently
like he's
than
a
you.
stranger. What is that? Yes. Okay, so I will say this. I have another book for you, but again, you can do the fast notes on this. This one is by a black woman, so she's specifically speaking to us. Okay, it's called "We Can All Be Millionaires" by Rachel Rogers. You can also follow her on social media. She talks a lot about this, and she's also a parent. And I love to tap into Black women that are parents. It just helps me keep my brain straight. But from personal experience, I completely hear what you're saying, Courtney. Like, you're right, networking, what we would call the comms and PR part of the business, is really part of the business, especially when you're doing the entrepreneurship journey. Um, what I found is like you have to have at least one conversation, which it sounds like you did, Courtney, and sit down and say like, "Hey, this is what I'm working towards. This is what it's going to entail." There are going to be some changes happening around the home because us following our journeys, especially today in like as women and then Black women in society, like we do carry a lot of the mental load. We make sure things are in place. We manage the schedules. We, you know, submit the forms. It's like we do all this stuff. Um, and we are a lot of people's like almost like their operations manager in real life. And so letting people know like I did this, I'm now putting myself first, and I still value our relationship. I still value what we have in our home, but we're gonna have to make some changes in order to accommodate all of us, and that might mean if your kids are older, like they need to, go wash their own socks. But it also could mean like, hey, are we willing to? Again, I'm using delegation as one way I've solved this. Like, are we gonna delegate and find someone local who can like do meal prep? Because there are a lot, just calling out, there are a lot of Black women who do meal prep locally. Don't sleep. You don't have to use HelloFresh if you don't want, but also I'm not against it. You can find a lot of women who like, I'm in my neighborhood. My neighbor is a caterer. Do you think I cook for parties? Absolutely not. So, that's my fun way of saying like you can find a lot of local businesses and reframe your mind to be like, I'm now an economy booster.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You're like, oh, I can outsource someone to do the laundry. My daughter's preschool teacher does cleaning on the side. Put money in her pocket, save me time. Like you got to start thinking like, how do I barter or exchange so that
Yes.
family can still operate, but the entire mental load is not on me. But we can all be millionaires talks about that mindset and how for us as Black women in particular, women of color, underrepresented groups, we have to like make that mindset shift and like bring our families on board because they're just not accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Take the cape off.
Tam,
Yeah,
I think you've evolved just since we've known each other. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. She's right.
I love this. I love this. I
Hey,
love the fact that you are sharing practices that have actually worked for you, not
yeah.
just something that's theoretical,
Mhm.
and it
Yeah.
matters. And your newsletters are amazing. Oh my God. Like
Thank you.
everything.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is all glowed up on you these days. So
I mean, Courtney met me at this point,
finding
but
my purpose and my newsletter is speaking to you. Yes, yes. Now, if you can learn how to manage your Taurus, you let me know because I'm still trying to learn how to manage me and mine. Okay.
but yeah, managing kids is another thing. But Courtney, like I said, Courtney's like I didn't age. Like she's like nothing's happening. But Courtney knows. We've had this conversation in some cases, but Courtney at least that's why I would say that those two books are going to be key for you.
Hey,
Um,
Courtney, I want to get more into your experience and what made you want to do your own thing because entrepreneurship is hard. Did you know it was going to be hard before you did it, or did you just decide what I'm doing isn't working for me?
okay, let me full transparency. I don't want to do this. I never wanted to do this. My brother owns a hair salon in Winston-Salem, one of the best there is. He's been an entrepreneur since, like, we knew in high school, college wasn't for him. But when I tell you he's the baddest with the hot comb, hair, flat iron shears, like, that's him, okay? And so that's he's been trying to get me to like, you need to do your own thing, make your own money, be an entrepreneur because he's killing it, right? And I'm like, I love that for you. I need my check coming in every 2 weeks, or I need my vacation time, I need my PTO, I need my benefit, love that for you. I want to clock into somebody's clock and then be off at 5. Okay. So let me just give you that backdrop. Um, but then every now and then God would prick my heart to like do this. And like I'm having true like Jonah moments, like I don't want to do that. I'm going the other way, back to my corporate, right? And so it was fine in the beginning because I think there's always, time and place, right? And so in the beginning, I was thriving, I was getting promoted, I was like really in my element with marketing, and I still love it to this day. However, as I started to move up in the companies that I would work for, I noticed a shift in how honestly I was treated or how I was looked at for promotion or not, right? And so it still wasn't enough to push me out. And I was just like, I'm just going to take it on chin. This is just the price of doing business. This is me being a corporate girly. I just got to take it on the chin, keep moving. Nothing can affect me. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then I went to a gala for women entrepreneurs. And I was just so inspired. And that day, God placed on my heart again, like, okay, you need to do something to impact the world, to change the world. Like, what's going to be your legacy that you collected a check your whole life and that you helped build somebody else's brand your whole life? Like, what are you going to leave behind? And so at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm going to start the core purpose. But I was also still working full time. And so I had every excuse when I got home or when on the weekend or whatever to like be, I was too tired or I had a rough day or they were beating me up today. So I had every excuse and I didn't move the needle at all with my own business. And so I feel like he was like, okay, don't worry about it. I'm going to help you help yourself. And that job ended. And I came home that day and filed for my business, got my website set up, like all in one day, right? And so I will say that it took me being spit out by the well to do this. It's not something that I wanted to do, but I can honestly say since I've started it, it's been full full steam ahead. Like I have been so busy and fulfilled at the same time. I'm scared, but it's going so well. It's going so well, and I couldn't be more thankful. And I'm sad that I didn't believe in myself enough sooner, to be
Mm,
honest. But
I love that for you. I mean, I
you know,
don't, but I do.
yeah. And look, I'm not saying I'll never go to corporate. Right? Let's like I'm gonna be honest. I'm still being people still hit me up for opportunities every day. I'm like, okay, let me see what. But I also feel like this is what he wants me to do as well, and so I'm gonna honor that. And also, if I look, if I it just I'm looking at my days now and how I was able to volunteer last week at my son's book fair and how I could do Pilates in the middle of the day. Just this is the dream, right? This is success. And so if I can figure out the balance a little better, I think ultimately this is the goal.
What's your favorite part of what you do? What do you love about marketing, PR? What do you love about it?
I don't do the same thing every day. Every job I've ever had, every day looked different. One day we're going to an event, we're setting up a conference. The next day we're doing a website audit, or we're creating an email campaign, or we're doing marketing automation, or we're vetting some new digital transformation tool. Every day was different. It's different. Still today. Today I'm on a podcast.
I love that. Tam, what do you love about owning your own company?
My answer: multiple streams of income. I'm not even gonna hold you. Um, that's my biggest answer, to be honest. But also to what Courtney said, it's all about leaving a legacy and impacting the world. Um, I think we can all do that in very different ways. Like Courtney is saying, like, God led her to do it a very specific way. I'm being led to do it one way. Tanya, I know you're killing it too. So I do think we are called to walk in alignment with our purpose. And so that's my favorite part.
I love, not that you asked, but I
Yes.
love that you can be authentically yourself. Like I
Mm,
get to see, even listening to you, Courtney, talk about your business and how you are moving in getting comfortable with it and growing it. It's very authentically you. You don't have to shy away from the parts of you that I think as women, sometimes we even, I won't say hide, but we kind of defer,
Mhm.
right? In the background, pieces of our femininity, our motherhood, our wifehood, we put it a little bit in the shadow to be able to meet the expectations of the corporate world. And I want to ask you both. I think I'm going to have to post this as a poll too, because, my husband has come to a point where he thinks, because I think it happens for men and not so much women, I will hear him talking to clients and he'd be like, oh, we gotta end this quick. I gotta make sure I get my son to practice. Or like he openly talks about his obligations as a father. So
Mhm.
he'll say to me, like, just let people know. And I'm like, no, fool, it don't work like that with us.
Mm-mm.
It should, or you shouldn't be dealing with them. And as easy, he makes it sound easy, but we know good and well it is not the same for us. So my question to you is, do you think that women as mothers, do you think our mothers can move the way men do and still get that same level of respect and dignity that men get when they do it?
Absolutely not.
Talk
Um,
about that, please.
it's unfair, but I don't. Absolutely not. So many times we are penalized before we even get to the table because they find out we have kids or they know we have kids and they just make all these assumptions about, well, she's going to have to leave early, she's not going to be able to stay late, which I'm going to be honest, it's true for me. Like I set the boundary a lot in all my roles is that, hey, I need to be out here by 5:30 so I can get my kid from daycare or whatever the case. So I am forthcoming about it, but they know that there are days that I can also make arrangements with my husband, and if I need to put in the time, I can put in extra time, but that's not going to be the standard, right? But I do think I get an extra eyebrow raise where a man is not even it's not even a question of whether, they just assume that their wives will take care of it, and therefore opens them up to more opportunities, unfortunately, because the idea is to have somebody that is always readily available and doesn't have to sacrifice to keep the family structure, right? Whereas that label is automatically placed on us.
Tam, thoughts?
Nope, Courtney said it. I have zero thoughts. She said it.
No.
I mean, I will say I've been blessed with leaders who like let me be that. I've also not been at some points, but I will at least say like things like me having purple hair, which Courtney's seen me in before, like me doing different things. Like I've been blessed to be in spaces that allow me to be that. And I've also learned to take up space. But what Courtney said is true. It's like the safety, the psychological safety, the safety for women in society as a whole is not necessarily there.
And how ironic we're in a moment where diversity and how we are treated in the workplace is now being shunned. Isn't that is it interesting?
Hmm.
They're just saying the quiet part out loud now, right?
We
Again, it
don't
was
call
always this
ourselves women with kids.
unspoken. It was always this unspoken thing against women in the workplace, right? For the reasons I just stated. But now they're saying it out loud. Like, actually, we don't have
Care.
to now care that you have
Don't care.
a family on.
We're not going to make bathrooms where you can nurse your child because
No,
we don't care that you are milking. We don't care. We
and
don't
we
care.
didn't want to do your first place, actually. So,
It's just interesting that there are people, man, woman, black, white, that flow so effortlessly through society without a thought about those that don't look like or have different circumstances than you, right? And it feels like we have the weight of all of it, mothers, black, woman. I mean, my God, and still find a way to accomplish. So I do want to ask, what is next for each of you? Like what's coming up? What big do you have coming? What do you have to look forward to? What's going on with you, Miss Court?
it's a good question. So, somebody commented on my LinkedIn the other day that I'm going on a press tour. I'm like, but not really, right? It's just all these opportunities have come my way, and I'm so blessed and thankful. But I do have a few speaking engagements coming up that I'm excited about. But I am really looking forward to leaning in and digging into building my company, figuring out, you know, what my client or my cash cow or my asset will be, because I do want to write a book or ebook of some sort too to help the next generation transition into corporate spaces, especially African American um, students looking to go into to their corporate space. So I'm really excited about all of the potential. Right, there's a lot of untapped potential in this body that is just oozing to come out, and so I'm really excited about the future.
Very good. What's coming up with you, Miss Tam?
Oh, before I answer that, can I ask Courtney a question? I wanted to ask Courtney because, again, Courtney and I met when I was working with lawyers and she was working in I forgot the space, but it was like something to do with substance
Oh my gosh.
abuse.
So y'all, when you get a DUI, you got to put the breathalyzer in your car.
Yes, that was
We
what we
saw.
were.
When
Yeah, yeah.
I
Which
say
is
every
great.
industry, I've worked in every industry.
You've worked in every industry, so I just before we jump into like, because it's not about me here, but I want to ask, like, you've worked in so many industries, even in things that like I didn't know till I met you, basically. What how do you adapt what you know to different industries? I do want us to talk about that. So what's
Yeah.
your
So it's
yeah.
crazy because one thing I always do every job, even before I knew better, was just like I'm always watching and listening and being a sponge first. It's just in me to like, all right, like I'm here, I'm excited, I'm new, I'm bright eyed, bushy tail. I want to know everything there is to know about this business. And so for some time, right? If you've read the book, The First 90 Days, right? I'm doing a lot of investigative journalism, right? I'm just taking all the notes, meeting all the people, really digging in, looking under the hood, figure out, okay, what is this company really? Because there's what they show and then it's what the real is, right? And so the first 2 weeks or so, I'm all about listening and really trying to figure that out. And so once I grasp enough, because you never really fully know everything, I won't pretend that I do, but once I grasp enough, I'm able to find their true voice, not their core values, not what they post that their core values are, but their real core values, their real culture, their real, like, what's their real voice, right? And so from there, my marketing is or PR is always true to that, right?
Mm,
Staying at the core of who they are because authenticity is king, as we know. People can smell a phony from 10 miles away. And so I've always been able to quickly understand and pick up on the actual true essence of the company and lead with that, right? Lead my marketing and promotions PR with that. Does that make sense?
yes, that makes perfect sense. And this explains why we work so well together. I'm the same way. Let's dig in. But like sorry, okay, wait. But that makes absolute sense. And then since you've been going through different industries, has there been anything specific that stood out besides the process? Like, has there been a PR or marketing like tactic that you're like, this never fails? Like ever.
Yeah. Again, I keep going. I'm gonna keep going back to authenticity because like every time I've ever had to do a press release and it was about some BS, the press would never show, or we didn't get as many hits on it as we thought. But every time it was like this is a true initiative, and I like actually just happened to uncover it and be like, hey, we should actually be making some noise about this. It was like catching lightning in a bottle, right? It's like being authentic in your intentions means a lot as well. So that always worked well for me. It's just being able to like capitalize on something that they were already authentically doing, and getting it out there. But I will say there are things that didn't work for different industries because of regulation, right? So I worked at Duke
Mm,
Energy, which is our utility here, it's our electric company here. So better heavily federally regulated, and so there was so much red tape and so many things we couldn't say. They had a whole team of lawyers that looked over every single piece of copy that went out, and
oh my
so
gosh.
my hands were tied really really tight. But one thing that I kind of used to get around that was just the different offerings, right? And so um, you know I couldn't say as much as I wanted to freely, but I could show up in spaces that made a lot of noise through trade conferences or sponsoring things. I had a blank check basically when it came to the amount of money I could spend. And so I was able to do a lot through action to really spark that to make the most difference, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes it. Tanya, anything on that? Because I know authenticity is
I
pretty.
I love that she leans into that. I think it's important when people are trying to give off the perception that they know everything, that they're just so well versed in a particular industry. At some point, you run into somebody that, like me, that's going to challenge your actual knowledge about that because you don't have to be the most well versed person in that industry in order to be good at your job as a communicator, marketer, or PR person. But you do have to have a level of curiosity about the industry. You
Yep.
have to at least want to know more. And I think that's important that we always show that we are curious. We want to know more. We're enlightened by it. We care about what we are doing. And I think that authenticity shows I care about it. I care how I put you out there. I care about how I put your company out there. So I want to make sure that if I'm working with you, I want to make sure that I'm being as authentic as I can because hell, there's so many con artists out here now. You just feel like, dude, shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. Like you don't even know. Like get out of here. And having people represent your organization that are shysters and con artists,
Mm-hmm.
that matters. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the truth of the matter. It's like stop trying to act like you know everything. You don't have to know everything to be good at marketing. You don't have to know everything to be good at branding and PR for an organization, but you do have to be honest.
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
even in crisis, right? That was another big thing. Like things come up all the time, and again, leaning into authenticity, being transparent, not trying to pull the wool over people, like that just goes a long way. And I think it can never be overstated because again, authenticity is king. Like how many times have we seen in the news in the news cycle just companies coming out and getting in trouble for just like, okay, I own a Volkswagen, right? And then like, a few years ago, they had this scandal where they were trying to be all like, we're clean, our cars are zero emission or whatever the case. And it's like they Scooby Dooed it and figured out like actually your cars are only safe for the environment when it hooked up to a machine. It's just like it just puts a bad taste in people's mouth, and it's just like you're not always gonna come out looking scot free, looking clean, but you can tell the truth, and that goes further than any, like you said, con artistry or just there's a lot of spinsters in PR, and I've never ever subscribed to it because it always comes back to bite you. 5, 10 years later down the line, it's gonna come back.
And that's one of the things we've always been very concerned about is the fact that PR needs PR. We have been put in a situation where it when people hear PR, and that's why I say it so much, is for people to understand what you thought PR was actually isn't. Okay. I know you hear PR and you think spin and lies and you need to take a shower because it makes you feel gross, but actually that's not who we are and that's not what we do. So let me help you understand what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But educating people on what the process is, what we actually do, not what we are perceived to be, is very important. So I thank you for sharing that because it is integral that people understand authenticity, truth, and how we are connecting that truth and those stories with the public is important to us, to people that
Yeah.
care about the industry. So, yeah, my thoughts.
For
Tam,
sure.
anything else?
Um, I do have another question because again, Courtney has just transitioned so beautifully through so many industries. Sorry, every time I think about that device, I'm like, how in the world did she get into this? But I do think right now, like we're talking, we've talked about economy, we've talked about just being authentic as parents and working parents in whatever form that looks like, but just and then we've also talked about authenticity. But something else I really think a lot of us are needing help navigating is how to talk about ourselves as PR professionals in this new economy and new world, which I
Yeah.
learned Tanya's face.
Yeah.
Okay, take
Yeah,
it.
no, that's a whole thing in itself that I've really just recently haven't had to learn. And I got the advice from it was kind of like a don't ever do that again. And she was completely right, and I never will. So as a marketer, right? A lot of times the LinkedIn, the social, the stuff that we're pushing out is my baby. It's something that I've done. It's something that I was the brainchild of this thing. And so I always reposted. Kind of their brand and my brand has like historically morphed into one. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm on this journey, I realize how bad of a mistake that was. Not only because now I want to go off and do my own thing, but it also took me out of the picture, right? Because it was like, okay, yes, you did this. It's okay to highlight that, but what else? Like how bring it back up to how this is part of your brand. And so one thing I do want to leave with our audience today is be very cognizant of separating your brand from your firm's brand, right? If you're still working with a firm, or you're under a company, or you're moving into a corporate space or whatever, there will be times that you do things that you are super proud of and you want to put on LinkedIn and you want to repost it with your thoughts added. Like, hey, this is something that this company did and this is how it affected me, or this is how I contributed to it, or this is, and not to be super but I think there is a lot of danger in merging your brand with another brand, because for all the reasons why things, all the negative reasons, things can go bad really quickly, but also you miss out on a lot of the good things that you're not, actively calling out to highlight yourself. And then, I think that was one of the things that made this transition so tough for me, is because I then had to unmarry myself from
Mm.
this brand and figure out who I was again and what my was. And so I will say that's one mistake I would never make again. And number two, you know, I'm not really worried too much about the climate of the world, because again, authenticity, like I think when we get out of this administration, if we do a live, there will be this huge reckoning that has to happen, right? Like people will have to face the light again, and they're gonna be looking for the people who are like holding the torch, right? And being honest and being truthful. And so I am really looking forward to just doubling down on who I am, what I represent, and you know, um, all the things. All the things.
I love that. I think that's perfect. Let the people know before we get out of here how they can be in touch with you, how they can follow your journey, and how they can just stay in touch and connect.
For sure. So I want to take a second to say thank you guys for having me. This was such a good time. I'm so proud of this platform, and just like this idea and this brainchild of that you guys have, and the branding is perfect. I love it. It's so elite and official. I just want to like put it on a collared shirt, not a t-shirt, but this belongs on like a. Anyway, sorry. So I do want to just say I'm so thankful that thank y'all for having me, and I do want to allow the audience today to connect with me personally. If you have any questions, if you want to talk branding, want to talk marketing, PR, whatever, please connect with me, Courtney at thecorepurpose.org. Email me and we can chat. We can set up a consultation, whatever you want to do. This is truly my passion. Is what I love to do. I've been doing it for every industry for 12 years, and so would love, love, love to talk to each and every one of you about all things marketing, PR too.
I love it. I love it. Anything for you, Tam Tam, before we get out of here? What do you have going on? What do the people have to look forward to? What's up?
Ooh. Um, she's not gonna let me escape that question. um, well, first and foremost, like, thank you, Courtney, for being here. I'm so happy to have you here. And everyone, please follow along and connect with Courtney. It's worth it. As for me, I am a big personal brand advocate, as everyone knows. So I actually specialize in helping Black and Brown women build their personal brand, and I do it for multi hyphenate women. So those who have multiple titles, you do multiple things. You're not just one thing. A lot of us are multidimensional. So you can hit me up on Instagram at the Badian Girl. That is the BAYDIAN girl, and that's because I am Barbadian and American. Um,
Ow.
yep. So hit me up there and follow along, and really from there, you can join my newsletter. You can reach out to me, but I specialize in helping you build personal brands. So like literally, Courtney said,
So I'm gonna be contacting you.
yeah, hit me up. You hit me up too. We gotta connect again. I feel like it's been too much time, but that's what I do, and like I totally agree with Courtney. Like, please have your own personal brand. Like, stand out and brag. And I know Tanya's about to have a whole lesson about bragging. So Tanya, what about you?
Yeah.
She knows I'll get out of here without saying a word. Listen, I appreciate both of you. I want to give a shout out though, especially since Courtney put it out there how amazing our branding is. Tam did it. So if you need somebody to help you with your branding, your personal brand, get your girl, because she gets us all the way together when it comes to having a unified brand and unified voice. I'm multi hyphenate, so I'm all over the place. And I think I like it like that. Like, I don't know, whatever. Chaos runs my life. But I do want to say, I don't talk about this often. One of my multi hyphens. I'm an LA County Commissioner of Alcohol and Other Drugs. And I've learned that that is a very difficult conversation to have with people, even though they need to be having it. I work for the largest county in the nation, LA County, and we have some of the biggest problems in the nation. So, using communication skills to help people learn how to talk about the problem and the solutions is crazy because no one ever wants to talk about the problem.
Mm.
Here's the thing, I do have another podcast, Leaders and Learners. And I just landed an incredible. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. She's an AKA. She's a coroner, and she's going to. She is a coroner, I think in North Carolina or somewhere down south, but she's amazing. She has an incredible social media presence, and we are going to have a show coming up. So be on the lookout and really talk about, because she's a coroner, so she's going to talk about what happens when someone passes from overdoses and such. And I'm going to talk about some of the things to be on the lookout to hopefully help people stay out of the coroner's office. We are going to have that tough, explicit conversation because sometimes we just need to do that. So, one of the things that I love to say is I like to simplify complex issues through conversation. That's really what communications is. And again, I don't talk about this often, but especially for our people, I think it's important that we start tuning into the things that we can control, right? There's a lot going on that has the world all up in heaval right now, but there are some things that we can't control. One is what Courtney said, is the authenticity of it, really being who you are, being present in that life and paying attention to the things that are important, standing in your voice, like Tam always talks about, and really showing who you are and the business that you stand on, and trying to solve problems in our community. So when all this is over, we come out better because that's what's important to all of us here. So, with that being said, you can always find me at Tanya McKenzie PR on all social media platforms or Sand and Shores. And this has been incredible. I love being surrounded by incredibly smart, beautiful, vibrant women. And I can't think of anything that I would have rather done today. So I just want to thank you, ladies, for being here and sharing yourself, your whole self with us, even though there's so much more to come. But tap in. I absolutely recommend that each and every one of you tap in with each one because I promise you, you will be better for it. You will be better for it. So thank you, ladies, for being here. And we'll see you soon on our next edition of PR Lunch Hour.
Thank y'all.
Hey, best of luck, Courtney. Keep us posted on everything going on with you, okay?
100%. You'll see it. I'm gonna shout it from the rooftops. Don't worry.
Okay, I love it. Oh, last thing. And Tam talks about books all the time, but one thing I think we can always learn is how to brag better. So
That's another one. Yes.
and we'll leave all that information in the comments, okay? All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
See.
Thanks for tapping.